My hands are already shaking. I press them together hard, hoping the shaking notices and stops. Someone said something simple. I nodded too fast. My neck feels hot now. I feel that pause, that tiny gap where I should say something normal. I wanted to answer, no, wait. I wanted to answer correctly. There's pressure in my throat. Not pain, just pressure that keeps asking for words. So I start explaining. Before anyone even looks confused, I add a sentence, then another. My hands start helping without permission. I'm watching their eyes. Did they blink wrong? Was that impatience? I clarify a detail nobody questioned. My voice speeds up a little. This part feels urgent. Like if I stop talking, something bad fills the space. I hear myself saying, what I mean is, and I hate that I said it. My leg won't stay still. The floor feels too close, too loud. I smile to soften it. The smile feels late and unnecessary. Oh, and I remember another angle, so I add that too. I try to land the point. It slips. I chase it. My hands are wet now. That's new. I keep talking anyway. They haven't interrupted. That should be good. Doesn't feel good. I explain my tone. Why I said it that way. Why it sounded off. I hear myself defending something that wasn't attacked. There's a tight knot just below my ribs. It pulls downward. I almost stop. Almost. The silence gets louder. So I keep going. Just one more sentence. To make it clear, I explain the context. Then the context behind the context. They're still listening. Or waiting. I can't tell the difference. My head feels tight now. Like I'm holding it together manually. I laugh a little. That was a mistake. I add a disclaimer, then another one behind it. I'm aware I've been talking too long. That awareness doesn't stop me. My voice sounds thinner. I push through it. I start shrinking the explanation, trying to fold it back in. There's a gap. I could end it here. I add one final clarification, just to be safe. And then I stop. My body doesn't believe me yet. I keep replaying one moment. Not the worst one, just the one that's stuck. It was a small room, fluorescent lights, everyone already seated. I remember the chair scraping too loud when I moved it. My back wouldn't rest. I stayed forward, ready for something. I pressed my palms down like that would keep me contained. Someone asked a question. Not to me, just generally. I felt it anyway. That pull, that quiet, you should answer. I almost raised my hand. I didn't. My chest tightened. I told myself to wait, to let someone else go first. Nobody moved. The room stayed open. So I started talking. I don't remember deciding to. I gave the short version first, just the facts. Then I heard myself adding context, background, clarifications. I could feel myself leaning in, like proximity would help. Someone nodded once. Once was enough to keep going. I explained what I meant, then what I didn't mean. I corrected a misunderstanding that hadn't happened yet. I paused for half a second. That felt dangerous, so I filled it. I filled the space hard. My wrist started itching. I scratched without stopping. I laughed once. Nobody else did. I nodded at my own words, like they needed encouragement. I realized I'd lost the original question, so I tried to circle back, slowly, carefully. My breath sounded loud in the quiet. There was a moment I could have stopped. I felt it. I didn't trust it. I kept going. By the time I finished, my hands were numb. Nobody looked angry. Nobody looked relieved either. Someone said, "Okay." Just that. That word stayed with me longer than it should have. I spent the rest of the meeting quiet. Too quiet. but my body kept talking long after I stopped. After that meeting, I didn't feel relieved. I felt used up. My shoulders stayed high, even in the hallway. My eyes felt dry, but I kept rubbing them anyway. I wanted some switch to flip. I checked my phone and locked it again. I wasn't looking for anything. I just needed emotion. I leaned against a wall. My back finally touched something. My chest still wouldn't loosen. I tried to breathe out slow. The next inhale rushed in anyway. My body kept arguing with me. I replayed my words in my mouth without sound. I could feel the shape of sentences I shouldn't have said. My face felt tight. I pinched the bridge of my nose and held it, waiting for a headache to decide. I opened a chat and stared at the empty text box. I didn't type, I just stared. Then I typed 2 lines, deleted them, typed again. I kept trying to prefix a misunderstanding that didn't exist yet. My fingers tingled. I shook my hands out once, then stuffed them in my pockets to keep them quiet. Later, I sat on the edge of my bed, elbows on my knees, staring at my own socks. There was an itch on my arm that didn't need scratching. I kept scratching anyway. It matched the rest of me. My jaw was sore from holding itself. I pressed my tongue against my teeth like I was bracing. I acted the conversation out with my hands, alone. I couldn't stop. My body kept finishing the meeting. I stood up to do something. I sat back down. I forgot what the something was. I drank water and paused mid-swallow. My throat felt narrow. The water went down slow, on purpose or not. I wiped my mouth again and again. I kept thinking I'd said something messy, like it was still in my face. I read an email sentence twice and didn't understand it. My brain was there, but it wasn't showing up. I stared at the ceiling and blinked slow. The tiredness felt heavy, not sleepy. Heavy. I held my phone like I might call someone. I didn't. I lowered it. Even talking felt like work. I looked in a mirror and tried to smile. It stopped halfway. My face didn't want to perform anymore. I sat with food and pushed it around. I wasn't hungry. I also wasn't not hungry. I was blank. The base of my neck hurt. I pressed it with my hand and held pressure there, as if I could pin myself down. I reopened the chat and hovered over send. My thumb stalled. My chest tightened again. Same loop, same spot. I deleted the draft. For a second, my shoulders dropped. It was a small relief. It didn't last. A notification sound hit and I flinched. I hated that reaction. I hated noticing the reaction more. I rubbed my hands together fast, then stopped. The warmth didn't comfort me. It just proved I was still jittery. I lay down with my clothes still on. My arms stayed stiff. Rest felt like something I had to negotiate. I turned my head into the pillow and kept my eyes open. I waited for my thoughts to run out. Then I sat up fast, hand on my chest. The panic wasn't loud now. It was stubborn. I wrote a tiny note to myself, 1 sentence, then crumpled it. Even my own words felt risky. I held the paper a second too long. My fingers loosened. It dropped. I watched it fall like it mattered. I ended up on the floor, back against the bed, staring forward, not thinking, just waiting for my body to stop. The next day, I didn't feel better. I felt neutral, not calm, just drained enough to stop fighting. I tried to drop my shoulders. They rose back up on their own, like my body forgot the instruction. I opened my notes to write a clean version of what I meant. I stared at the blinking cursor until it felt insulting. I closed it. I didn't want a clean version. I wanted a version that didn't need defending. I stood at the sink with water running over my hands. Too long. I watched my fingers turn pale. I turned the tap off and kept my hands there anyway. The habit doesn't end when the sound ends. I reread a message I'd already sent yesterday. Nothing changed on the screen, but my stomach tightened like it could. I put my phone face down. That felt dramatic. I did it anyway. My mouth stayed open when I breathed, like my body didn't trust my nose to handle it. I bit my lip and held it. Not hard, just enough to keep myself present. Every sound made me turn. Then I'd realize it was nothing. I kept doing it, over and over. My thumbs kept rubbing, that tiny, repetitive thing. I didn't stop it. I just watched it happen. I started another quick clarification. I hovered over the keyboard and felt that familiar lift in my chest. I didn't send it. I lowered my hand. My chest still stayed lifted, like it was waiting for permission. I exhaled. My shoulders dropped a fraction. Not relief, just the smallest release of grip. I watched time pass in a way that felt stupid, like, look, minutes, see? Nothing exploded. I walked past a mirror and didn't look. Then I stopped and looked anyway, like I was checking for damage. My heart was still fast. I put a hand on my chest. I could feel it tapping back at me. I sat on the floor again. It's embarrassing how often the floor becomes the plan. I moved my phone a little farther away, like distance could make me less reactive. I tried to practice what I'd say next time. My mouth opened. Nothing came out. My body didn't want rehearsal. I rested my head on my knees and kept my eyes open. I didn't want comfort. I wanted quiet. I could still hear my own voice from yesterday, in pieces. I covered my mouth for a second, like that would stop it. My fingers trembled when I lowered my hand. Not a lot, just enough to remind me I'm not in charge. I stared at the corner of the ceiling. I picked a point and stayed there. It felt easier than thinking. My toes kept flexing in my socks. That stupid little movement. It was the only part of me that felt honest. I pressed my palms into the floor. Just pressure. Just proof something solid exists. I breathed in and held it for a beat. Then let it go. Not to fix anything. Just because my lungs asked. I thought about texting an apology for over-explaining. I didn't. I let the thoughts sit there and rot. My phone buzzed. I flinched. I didn't reach for it. That felt like standing near a ledge. I waited. My hands clenched, unclenched. The urge rose, then stayed, then rose again. I let my hands rest open. My fingers didn't curl. I didn't solve it. I just stopped performing safety. And I sat there. Still. Breathing shallow. Hearing nothing. Waiting for the next moment I won't trust my right to be misunderstood.